Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone should have their DBQ out in front of them now. Everyone should have already turned in their essays, of course, to the front of the room. Okay, now, just like last week with the DBQ, okay, tonight for homework, what is your homework? Happies. You are to complete all of the happies that we have not gone through. Now, just a heads up, you have 30 minutes after this period because we have homeroom. We have the don't drink at Gasparilla conversation for seniors today. So, with that being said, I would absolutely use my time efficiently during your homeroom period and knock as much of this stuff out. Because remember, last week it took you about 45 minutes to an hour at home, correct? So you have a gift of a half an hour. I would use your time wisely during that time. Is everyone clear on that? So tomorrow, just like we did last week, during your do now, there's going to be no posted do now. You are going to be talking with your neighbors and checking your answers. Will I be coming around to see if you actually did your job? Yeah. Yes, I will. Will I be pleased if you show up unprepared? No, I will blow up, explode, rage. So, is everyone clear on the expectation? All right, let's get to it then. All right, so we have a new DBQ. How exciting. You guys loved it so much last week. We had to do it again. I know. I am excited for it as well. So, we're not going to go through as much as the instructions. Just remember, they expect, if it's section 2, what 2 essays are you writing during section 2? DBQ and what? And LEQ. And how much time are you supposed to do both? You have an hour and 40 minutes to do both. They think you can write this DBQ in 60 minutes. Are you ready to write this DBQ in 60 minutes? Not yet, but we will get there. So keep that in mind. I want to make it really clear so you understand what your sections are held. Remember, you need to have a thesis, contextualization, evidence from the documents, evidence beyond the documents, so outside evidence, sourcing the documents, and a complex understanding. Okay? So, if you were not here on Monday, all of your DBQs from last week are in the box. You need to pull them out of the box so you have that comparison. Tonight, is it that important? No. Tomorrow night, is it going to be important? Yes. So please make sure you have your DBQ. I hurried up and got those back to you. Please make sure you have them. All right, here we go. Using the documents provided in your knowledge of world history, evaluate the extent to which the spread of Buddhism, yes, and transformed Chinese society between 350 to 1900. Oh my goodness, this is exciting. So, if we are in 350 to 900, what period is it, Wyatt?
2 and 3.
It's a little bit of 2 and 3. Now, they can do this. They typically don't as we've gotten older, because this is an older one. However, they can still blend, and every once in a while you do see. You need to be aware. You need to be able to adjust. Is everyone clear? So it's period 2 and 3. Now, it's talking about Buddhism. However, you need to know how Buddhism affects what? Chinese society. So the whole focus of this entire essay is on what, ladies and gentlemen? Chinese society. So you really have to focus on the effects on China. Everything comes back to the effects of China. This is the most important thing. You have to understand your prompt. If you don't understand your prompt, you can't answer the questions correctly. If you can't answer the questions correctly, you're wasting your time. Here we go. Let's see how many documents we have. Oh, we only have 7. Isn't that nice? How nice. Here we go. So, first step of a DBQ is make sure you understand the prompt. Second is to begin doing your annotations or doing your happy documents. Here we go. Document 1, source we done. Chinese scholar, author, and confidant of Chinese aristocrats and high officials during the period when northern China was invaded by Central Asian steppe nomads circa 350 CE. What do we know? What do you got? Quiet.
He's like, he either is, well, like knows a lot higher officials than
Okay. I mean, he's a scholar, so he's probably a what? So he's very wealthy. Okay, and he has power somehow. Okay, so whether a flourishing business or something. Okay, what do you got, Savannah?
China's being invaded.
Yeah, China's being invaded. And this is in 350, which means you're in what period? 2. So if you look at period 2 in the back, East China's the one with the red. Period 2, it's either the Qin or the Han. If you had to guess, who do you think it probably is? If you had to guess, it's probably the Qin. Now, what I would do, because I know we're dealing with period 3, I would make a note. Period 2 is Qin and Han. Why would I write them in that order? Because that's the order that they come with. Period 2. Period 3. Does anyone remember the order? Sui, Tang, Song, Yan. Do you see how important it is for you to know the order of your Chinese dynasties? Now, is this tying directly to period document 1? No, but is it nice for me to have it so I can reference? There you go. All right. Who's ever in China in this area of sensual pleasure serves the Buddha and correctly observes the commandments, who recites the Buddhist scriptures, and who furthermore makes a vow to be reborn without ever abandoning his sincere intention, will at the end of his life, when his soul passes away, be miraculously transported thither. He will behold the Buddha and be enlightened by his spirit, and then he will enter nirvana. Nirvana, the extinction of desire and individual consciousness. All right. Here we go. What's the historical context? What do you got, Madison?
China's being invaded.
China is being invaded by nomads. Okay, who's the audience of this piece? Sarah? Okay, the upper class? Chinese? Okay, what is the purpose of this piece? What is the purpose of the piece? What do you think, Matthew?
To actually uphold his intentions.
First of all, is it a positive piece or a negative piece? You think it's really positive? Of sensual pleasure, serves the Buddha and correctly observes the commandments. Okay, so essentially, what's this whole, who can just summarize? Summarize, so we're not looking at it, not this, we wouldn't score if we wrote it down. What is this document telling us, Sam? If you follow what principles? Yeah, guys, if you become a Buddhist and you follow the principles, you will reach nirvana. Okay? So, what is the purpose of this piece? You will reach a forever nirvana. What do you think the purpose of the piece? Remember, keeping in context, the historical context, what do you think the purpose is, Jason?
To reassure people, because they're getting invaded right now, so it gives them hope.
Gives them hope. Purpose is to give hope and the idea of forever. Guys, when do you think people become super religious? When they're young or when they're old? When they're old. Why do you think people become super religious as they get older, Abby?
So when they die, when they're about to die, they're like, oh, I'll go somewhere.
Yeah, everyone. Well, you didn't have to add that little layer to it, but okay. So, what do you think the real thing this is about? What do you think the author's real goal here, Tristan? No, I don't think he really cares whether China unifies under it. Whosoever in China, I mean, that's not everyone in China. Listen up. We got to convert, right? Whosoever, I mean, it's pretty low-key. Buddhists aren't really known for shoving their religion down your throat. You know what I mean? Like, they're not on the river walk every Saturday and Sunday pushing their religion. True, not true. Other religions are, not Buddhists. What do you got, Matthew?
I was going to say that they're trying to get people to vote, like not force them. Just like shove them into it.
Guys, Madison. Not Madison. Emma.
He says in his era of sensual pleasure, he was trying to get people to turn away from.
Yeah, he's okay. He's trying to get people to turn away. Okay, guys, keep in mind, we still have invasions are going on. Imagine if we were at war with China right now. Do you think people would turn to Christianity faster or slower? Faster, absolutely. Why? People are afraid for their lives. Things are starting to. Now, in the era of sensual pleasures, okay, this can be a little bit confusing. They're talking about in this like erroneous time where things are more important. When we say...
Students, please pardon this interruption. All students that have been invited to Unity Day, please report to the Media Center at this time. Also, when the bell rings after the morning show, all students will be reporting to their homeroom class for a senior assembly. Thank you.
Trying to give people safety due to the threat from the north. Okay, it's trying to give these people safety. Okay, why do we care about it? It shows, are people pro-Chinese, pro-Buddhism or anti-Buddhism? People in China are pro-Buddhism. Okay, here we go. Anonymous Chinese scholar, The Disposition of Error, China circa 500. What period is it? It is still 2, and it's at the end of 2, so who do we think it is? It's probably Han. This one, because remember, the Qin are only in power for a very small amount of time. Okay, it could be Qin. I'm not actually that sure, and you don't need to know. Could be Qin, could be Han. Okay, so... Anonymous Chinese scholar, The Disposition of Error, China circa 500 CE. Question. If Buddhism is the greatest and most venerable of ways, why did the greatest sages of the past and Confucius not practice it? In the Confucian classics, no one mentions it. Then why do you love the way of the Buddha and rejoice in outlandish arts? Can the writings of the Buddha exceed the classics and commentaries and beautify the accomplishments of the sages? Answer. All written works need not necessarily be the words of Confucius. To compare the sages to the Buddha would be like comparing a white deer to a unicorn or a swallow to a phoenix. The records and teaching of the Confucian classics do not contain everything. Even the Buddha is not mentioned in them. What occasion is there for suspicion? Now, of happiness, there is none greater than the continuation of one's line of unfile conduct. There is no worse than childlessness. The monks forsake wives and children, reject property and wealth. Some do not marry all their lives. Answer. Wives, children, and property are the luxuries of the world, but simple living and inaction are the wonders of the way. The monk practices the way and substitutes that for worldly pleasures. He accumulates goodness and wisdom in exchange for the joys of having wife and children. Okay, you had to summarize, and keep in mind, summary doesn't score. What is this document telling us, Mia?
Something that, like, some people feel really strongly about one religion, and, like, others feel strongly about another, but, like...
What are the 2 religions?
Confucianism and Buddhism.
There you go. You need to know this whole thing is Confucianism versus Buddhism. Okay, now, which one's going to be more powerful in China? Confucianism. This is your most powerful. Why? It was created in China, correct? It's all about China. Chinese government super supports it, correct? Make sure you know that. Perfect. Nice job, man. All right, so what is our historical context? Shows conflict between Buddhism versus Confucianism. All right. Who's the audience of this piece? Who is this piece written for? Think about it. It's versus each other. So who do you think it was written for, Rex?
Like the followers of Confucius.
There you go. It's for Confucius. Confucians. Why is it written for Confucians, Rex? You're completely correct.
It's, like shows what's wrong with Confucius.
It doesn't show what's wrong. It shows that there is a deeper connection between the two, even though it's not outlaid. Okay? Now, what is the purpose of this piece? What is the purpose of this piece, Alejandro?
To get Confucians to understand how Buddhists see the world.
No. I don't think they're trying to. Let me tell you about the Eightfold Path and all that crap. What is it about? What's it trying to do, people? Come on, the faster you move, the faster I move, the less homework you have. This is how this whole system is set up. Sydney. There you go. Shows the similarities of the religion and explain the differences. Okay, what is the author really trying to do here? Matthew? There you go. Reduce prejudice and expand what do you call someone who participates in a religion? Huh? Yeah, expand the amount of followers, sure. Okay, why do we care? Shows there's tension and mistrust. Perfect. Document 3, Emperor Wendy Yangjian, founder of the Sui dynasty, Imperial Edict 601. So we're in the Sui. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what can you tell me about the Sui? Come on! Sui, Sui, Sui. What do we got? Sui. I've already talked to these people. I want to talk to someone else. Saran. Yes, they built the Grand Canal. Okay, now, what are they only pretty much good at? They're only good at building stuff, correct? Building stuff. Are they around for a long time or a short time? A short time. Okay, so, with the armed might of the, a world-ruling turner of the wheel in Indian Buddhism, okay, we spread the ideas of the ultimately enlightened one. With hundreds of victories and hundreds of battles, we promote the practice of the 10 virtues, the weapons of war we regard as incense and flowers offered to the Buddha. So, are they Buddhist or not Buddhist? China is Buddhist. But are they practicing the same one as India? No, it's different from India. All the people within the 4 C's, okay, so their whole world is 4 C's at this point, may, without exception, develop enlightenment and together cultivate fortunate karma, bringing it to pass that present existences will lead to happy future lives and that the sustained creation of good causation will carry us one and all up into the wondrous enlightenment. Okay, so here we go. What is the historical context? Tristan. Huh? It's going to be, now, ladies and gentlemen, notice that these are scholars. Scholars. This is an actual emperor. Did you notice? So, what is this telling us about Buddhism now? Abby. But more important, it's now adopted by what? Buddhism is now adopted by the government. Now, do we have an official religion here in the United States? No.
Like the others are welcome.
There's no official religion. Absolutely not. That was one thing Jefferson demanded, that there would never be one here in the United States. Now, so if all of a sudden tomorrow we decide to be a Muslim country officially, first of all, I think the world would burn. My dad would pick up his pitchfork. Here we go. Okay. With that being said, is it a big deal when a state declares an official religion? Yes. So the fact that we've only had scholars, and then all of a sudden we have an emperor, do you think that is a sign of a tradition or a change? I would say so. Is now an official religion of China. Okay. Audience, who is this for? Who is this for, Nathan?
Like the people in China.
People in China and who else? Guys, remember, she mentions, or he mentions, the 4 C's. Matthew? People everywhere. People everywhere. Obviously, China is going to be the major focus. What is the purpose of the piece? What is the focus of this piece? What's the goal, Ayla?
They're using Buddhism to justify war.
I don't think so. Not war tactics. They're weapons of war, incense and flowers, my love.
Oh.
Yeah, if you're a Buddhist, yeah, if you're a Buddhist, you're not really like picking up a weapon and like, let's go kill people today. That's really not your thing. You're more like, let's just sit here and like hang out with the incense. What do you got, Potter?
If you practice Buddhism,
It will bring peace to all people and civilizations. Okay. What's the real goal? Why do you think she essentially comes out, supports this religion, is talking about how great it is? What do you think her end goal is here? Come on. What do you got? What do you got, Hannah? Not Hannah. Annie.
To show the appeal to
No, I mean, it's pretty. I mean, Buddhism. If I'm not a Buddhist, doesn't Buddhism sound pretty cool? Like, hang out. Like, just hang out, you learn things, stuff like that. I don't think we're trying to get people to appeal. Hannah? I don't think anyone's like, yeah, Buddhism is going to make me more powerful. What do you got? Okay, more connections. Guys, what do you think she wants here? What do you think her real goal is? She's now officially making official decrees using Buddhism. What do you think her goal is here? Talking to China at this point. What do you got, Madison? Yes, her goal is total conversion. To Buddhism. Okay, why is it significant? Why do we care about this document? We kind of already talked about it. Why? Guys, it's a big deal. Savannah?
It shows the change
Shows the change of what?
from like scholars to emperor to like official religion.
Shows that Buddhism. Popularity is affecting government policies. Is that a big deal? Yep. Okay, so it's becoming more and more popular throughout. Document 4, the Royal Cave Temple at the Longmen Grotto. Some of you are pros at these. How nice when they come together. Built during the reign of Empress Wu Zetian, sure, a Buddhist and Emperor Longji, patron of the arts during the Tang Dynasty. Tang Dynasty, what is the Tang known for, friends? What is the Tang known for, Potter? No, they're not. That song. What do you got? What are the Tang known for, Cheyenne? No, we haven't had the Mongols yet. What do we got, Sarah? Yeah, they do the equal field system. But it's not really going to apply here. But I do like that you do know that. I'm proud of that. Tristan? Civil service exam. And when we... That's not how you spell civil service. Civil service exam is their big thing. Guys, they're also known as the pinnacle of what? Of Chinese culture. They're the pinnacle of Chinese culture. What 2 dynasties are known as the pinnacle of Chinese culture? So much so that when the Ming come back in power post-Mongols, they're going to emulate these 2. What 2, Mia? Tang in the song. So... here we go. So, they're super culturally relevant. All right, what do we see? I know it's not a great picture. Yannick, what do we see? Yeah, statues symbolizing what? They're Buddhas. Yeah, they're Buddhas. Okay? They're in a cave. Okay? They're carved into the rock. So is that hard work or easy? Hard. So went through great effort. Okay, great effort had to be put there. All right. Now, are they large or small? They're huge. These are people right here. They are humongous. They are huge. Okay? Why do you think we're looking at this picture knowing that these were carved into the wall by two different empires who are patron of the arts in the Tang Dynasty? Why are we looking at this piece? Why? Sam? There you go. So, we know for a fact that Tang, the Sui, and Tang are super pro-Buddhism. And they are gaining support and wealth. Can we agree? Just putting out a decree and then all of a sudden having all of these massive sculptures is we're seeing gaining support and gaining wealth. Okay? So, now, remember our prompt. It's making us look at the effects on China, the Buddhism and its effects on China. What effect on China does this have? Rex?
Like by building this, like along the Silk Road, it's like preventing tourism.
Okay. It's along Silk Road. Perfect. I didn't mention that, but I want to. Along Silk Road. Okay. It's popularly spread. Spread. Okay. So it's the most unpopular religion during spread along Silk Road during period 2. It loses its title to Islam during 3, 4, and 5. All right, here we go. Now, they didn't mention Silk Road, so if you mention that it is located along the Silk Road, what is that considered? Outside evidence. We haven't seen anything about trade or Silk Road or anything like that. It's all outside evidence. Okay. So, document 5, Zoing Mi, a leading Buddhist. Not really. It's an image. It's kind of hard on that, huh? I mean, how much more do you think we can get out of it? Huh?
Is that called tank tab? Like all
I don't know. I just sit back in the back of the class and heckle Ren most of the time. Zhang Mi, a leading Buddhist scholar favored by the Tang imperial household, essay on the nature of man, early 9th century. So, we're still with the Tang, and the Tang are pro or anti-Buddhism? They're pro-Buddhist and culture, so they're all about writings and all that crap. Okay, so he's a leading Buddhist scholar favored by the Tang. Here we go. Confucius. Okay, so we know Confucius is in Confucianism. Laozi is who? What religion is that guy from, Matthew? That is Taoism. And Buddha, which is obviously Buddhism. We're perfect sages. We kept seeing the word sages. I guess you don't, I haven't asked you what it is. What is a sage? What is a sage? Here in the West, we don't really use this term that often. The only time I've ever seen it is when we talk about like King Arthur. We see sages. What is it, Sam? It's almost like a monk, but kind of like they are touched by God to a degree. So they're touched. So they are chosen people, okay? And they are here to enlighten us, okay? What would we call them in Christianity? Prophets is what we would call them. Saints are going to be touched as well. That's typically in the West what we consider those types of people, okay? So they establish their teachings according to the demands of the age and the needs of the various beings. They differ in their approaches in that they encourage the perfection of good deeds, punish wicked ones, and reward good ones. All three teachings led to the creation of an orderly society, and for this they must be observed with respect. All right, so what's the historical perspective? Come on, the faster we go. I'm working through the break. Next bell, you're out. What do you got, Ayla?
The creation of different religions during
No, period 2 is when all these religions are going on. No, I think we can do better. What do you got, Abby?
Like the different religions moving from China.
Okay. China has multiple religions. Within it. Okay, who's the audience of this piece? Who's the audience of this piece? What do you got? Phoebe. Who do you think this is written for?
Yeah.
You can't, enough the Tang leadership. The Tang leadership already.
It was just one of the people.
Okay, but what type of people? Think about it. It says that these three religions are very similar. So who do you think it's written for? Well, Chinese people, but what do you got, Yannick? Followers of those three religions, correct? Followers of Confucian, Buddhism, and Tao. Okay? So, why? Why would he be writing this to the leaders, to the people, the followers of those three religions? Why? Why? Someone I haven't spoken to. Come on. What do you got, Rachel? Show that they're similar. Okay, show that they're similar. And what else, people? What do you got, Emma? Okay, that need to foster respect. Okay, why do you think they would have, okay, a Buddhist scholar on the command of the Tang write about respecting other people's religion? What do you think the real purpose of this piece is, Cheyenne? Reduce tensions between rival theologies. Perfect. Why do we care? What does this show? Think about the progression of documents. They've given them to you in order, ladies and gentlemen. Think about the progression of the documents. What do you think that tells us? The progression of documents. If you had to guess, what do you think? Amari.
That eventually religions can run in the same empire at the same time.
How's that looking 28-19? Not very good, so I wouldn't say that in general. Keep in mind, guys, what our prompt is. It's looking at the effects of Buddhism on Chinese society. How do you think this goes? Sarah? No. Guys, you wouldn't write, let's respect everyone if everyone was already respecting, correct? Yes? Do I have a conversation with you at the very beginning of class for you people to be nice to each other and speak with kindness? No. Why? Because you already do it. So why would this guy write this whole big thing about being kind to each other if they're being kind, right? So what is obviously happening here, people? What is obviously happening, Cheyenne? They are disrespecting each other, so there's clearly conflict. Oh, my God. Why is it important? It is important because it shows us that Buddhism is facing conflict now in China. Is that it? I do. Yeah, of course. Mom, you're supposed to be in the... Let me try that. Mom, you're supposed to be in the meeting center.
Oh, I didn't get the viewer sign because I didn't want to go. Because my friend put me down, so I didn't get it signed.
Well, go tell them, not me.
Where do I go?
Media center. Why is it important? It shows us that Buddhism is losing its status and conflict is arising. You have 2 to do tonight. That's not bad at all. You're welcome for my hustle. Goodbye. I would just knock them out there. They're kind of hard. Did you notice today was much harder than last week's?
Yes.
So, I would sit there today and knock them out during homeroom. Isn't that nice?
Should I bring in my planning and stuff tomorrow?
It's fun. Yeah, you're going to homeroom.
All right, thank you.